Hi everyone, let's go through my preferred and alternative low time frame and micro scenarios, including potential trading setups, starting with my preferred scenario on the lower time frame, where I'm looking for this to be an A, B expanding flat and then a wave C to the downside. In this wave A, we then had a WXY, which is a nice three-wave structure with wave Y ending in exactly the most common target area for wave Y, which is between the fibs over here. Then looking for a move to the upside in a wave B, which has to be a three-wave structure. So currently looking for a WXY, with the alternative being this an A, B, C expanding flat. However, I would prefer not to take this low of wave Y and just continue to the upside. We also have a triple top over here, which is like a magnet for price because there's a lot of liquidity resting above these highs. So that is very interesting as well. And the most common target area for wave B are the fibs over here, pulled from the high of 5 to the low of W, and that is basically between 29.6k and 30k in confluence, with the weekly naked point of control and the weekly at 30k as well. Now if you look at this currently being a WXY, the most common target area for this wave Y at the moment is between the fibs over here, which is basically between 29.2k and 29.6k. As you can see, it's slightly below the wave B target area. However, that is no problem, as price can often wick above the 1.236 over here and then wick inside the wave B target area before a move to the downside. What is also, of course, still a possibility is that the structure that we are working on at the moment is only the first structure before we get a second structure, and then eventually the move to the upside towards 30k and then move down in wave C. So that is something to take into account as well. If we take this triple top and we actually put on all the targets for a wave Y over here in a WXY, you can see that actually the minimum target for wave Y is the 0.618, and everything between here is also still a target area for a wave Y. So it is also possible we move to the upside, take the triple top, move to the downside, and then later go up and go down once again to hit the target area of 30k for the wave B, and then move down for this wave C. If we then look, by the way, at the trading scenarios over here, we had the long setup at this wave A target area. Stop loss was below these lows, should already be break even. No financial advice, guys. We're on YouTube, you know how it goes. Target is going to be wave B over here. The potential short setup from an Elliott Wave perspective on the Bitcoin chart is lettering these shorts over here. Stop loss above the 1.618, which is a rare target for an expanded flat wave B, for then a trade to the downside. If you then go to the second low time frame scenario, which is my alternative low time frame scenario on the Bitcoin chart, I'm looking for a WXYXZ over here, where this wave Y bounced perfectly on the 1-to-1 from 5 to W to X, which is the most common target for wave Y. And then the most common target for wave Z is in between the fibs over here, the 1 and the 1.236, the bigger white box. And that is basically between 27.3k and 26.9k. If we then look at this structure being a downwards structure, we look at this being a WXY, or this X can be extended and end somewhere over here. Currently, the target for this wave Y is actually inside the bigger target area for wave Z. So that is some nice confluence as well. And we still have an untouched target box because this wave Y actually missed out on hitting this target box over here between 27.2k and 26.9k. So that's something to take into account. Also, the potential long setup in this scenario would for me be to start laddering longs after this low of wave Y has been taken. Stop loss below these lows over here, and then eventually trading it to the upside, where still the target is going to be about 30k. And also below these lows there's just not much support, because price can very quickly move to the downside, where my next target box is all the way down here at 24,850. So yeah, quite a drop. If we then go to the micro scenarios and basically zoom into what has been happening more locally, this is currently my preferred scenario. So over here, what you're seeing is the first structure. So this is the low of wave Y, right? And we're looking for a three-wave move to the upside. This is then the first part being a W, a zigzag over here, reaching the target area very nicely. The potential trading setup the potential short setup over here came to be because we had bearish divergences going on the CVD chart, which is the reason to enter then the potential short scenario, where the main target was this target box over here for then a potential wave X. So price moving to the downside, in this then being a W, an X, and then in this scenario a wave Y, where the minimum target for wave Y and also still a common target is the 0.618, which then is the end of this wave X most likely. Then currently, if we zoom in a little bit, we can also see I have a yellow count over here. So 3 waves in W, basically 3 waves in X, looking for upside in Y. As also shared in the Discord group, actually, I said this has potential. Invalidation, of course, is taking the lows over here. So that is what I was looking for. And in this particular scenario, wave X, most common target, or actually, let's zoom in a little bit. So the most common target for then this being a WXY, again the wave Y target area being the 1 and the 1.236, so this white box over here, which has been nicely respected right on top of the 0.786 for at least a little bounce as long as it stands now, right? Also, we still have bullish divergences going on the very local time frame. The bearish divergences that you see over here already played out as we took the lows, so that is nice, but still the blue line, as you can see over here, is showing some bearish divergence or a bullish divergences because we made a higher low but a lower low on the CVD chart. Of course, that can be leading and in my opinion, the long trade that we had for this wave X, entering the longs inside this target box over here, first we had the stop loss below this low, trading it to the upside, but in my opinion, definitely better be safe than sorry. The stop loss should be up below this low at the moment, which also basically means the stop loss goes from here to here. So if this is going to be a losing trade, instead of losing, for example, 1%, you're now losing 0.1 or 0.2% or something. So, you know, it's also much safer, but it's just in case if we go to the downside, you lose a lot less, of course. Again, educational based on Elliott Wave scenarios. Also, I think if this low is going to be taken, we might see price go towards the low over here. But of course, that is hypothetical because we have to wait and see what price is going to do. So yeah, looking currently for a little bit more upside in than this wave Y, which then can be the first structure of this bigger wave Y to the upside in the WXY. So this Y is then a 3-wave structure in a WXY as a first structure, then another one, and then eventually another one to the upside. If we then look at the more bearish scenario, we're looking at this again being the low of wave Y, but now this being an ABC. This B at the moment, however, it is taking a long time, right? Compared to this wave A, which is quite shallow and short. We now have then this being a WXY. That is possible, nothing wrong with that, but it starts to take very long. I would like to see price move down a lot quicker for this wave B, but that might happen because we have news coming today. So let's see how that goes. But any potential scenario here is actually an expanding flat, with this being an ABC, hitting the target box below, trading setup being the long, stop loss below the low, as already mentioned with the other scenario as well, for then a trade to the upside, where in this scenario this then is a WX, where this X can still end somewhere over here as well before then a move to the downside. Now important is the news today, because today at 2:30 Central East European time, you can check your own time zone on this website as well, we have a couple of new stuff coming. And I don't follow news, I'm not a fundamental trader at all, but I do know that this type of stuff, especially the red ones, can create volatility, and that is only in basically 1.5 hours from the moment this video is going to go live. So definitely make sure to trade safe the moment the news is going to hit. And if I open it on my chart, here we go, we're getting close to the news. Just make sure that when news is going to hit, you trade safe, have your plan, have your strategy, have your entry requirements, have your stop loss in place, have your targets in place, you know, trade sensibly, trade disciplined like a proper trader. This is what I wanted to tell you. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. I'd like to thank you for watching and subscribing, and I will see you at the next one. Bye bye.